Compton, and we are still working through some of the technical issues on this. I am sorry for any delays. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what Archimedes Offspring advantages are. All right, so first of all, it is really the vetting process of that also is a mentorship part of the program. So do you really have something that you can take to market? I was talking to a lady today, and it was really frustrating because she'd used an invention promotion company, and Archimedes Offspring cannot help once you've started down that path. Now, fortunately for her, she could still fix it. She could still go about getting a registered patent attorney's involvement and correct the patent application that was filed. But the invention promotion companies are a big no-no for Archimedes Offspring. One of the reasons is because usually they only do a search by keyword. You can't do a search by keyword. The USPTO is organized like a library. So it's by classification, not keyword. It has to include an international search. It has to include a good product search. All right, so those things I've done, one of the video clips was done specifically about the search. So you can go back and take a look and find that. The next one is that she doesn't even really know for sure that she used a registered patent attorney because it was someone that was assigned by this invention promotion company. They need to be a registered patent attorney with feet on the ground in the United States of America. I'm sorry, that's just one of the qualifications. Anybody else is wasting your time and money. All right, so do it right. The only thing that gives you leverage is controlling the intellectual property and making sure it's the best it can be. I met a man over the weekend. He made me nuts. He was in my session. And of course, there's always one exception to the rule. And yes, you can license sometimes without filing the patent yourself, and you let the licensee file. Guess who controls it then? The licensee. If they stop producing the product, he can't pull it back because they control the intellectual property. And legitimate licensees only license good intellectual property. All right. And he kept trying to tell me, it's like, well, you don't need to file a patent in this industry because good licensees will license anyway. And then they control it. Come on. You know, if it doesn't sound legitimate, it's probably not legitimate. So do a good search. Control your own intellectual property. All right. So at that point now, you've stepped in with Archimedes Offspring. You've set the vetting process in motion. So what does it do for you? Well, one, it helps keep you on the right track. And that's going to help you determine whether or not you should be filing, you should be going forward. So for about $1,500 out of your own pocket, which is a lot less than doing all of it yourself, you can get some real good pointers and real good indications of whether or not you'd be successful licensing or even being the startup. All right, so that's one part of it. Knowing those things are really important. All right, so devil's advocate here. The most important part of this whole process is having enough money to get through it. No, that's wrong. And I have had that confirmed to me over and over again. The most important part of the process is being able to separate someone from their cash. It's getting store placement. It's being picked up online. It makes me crazy. So many people tell me, it's like, well, I'll build a website and sell it online. No, you won't, because nobody knows you're there. If nobody knows what your product is and nobody knows you were there, nobody's going to buy it. You are still going to need help. So product placement is the hardest thing to get. It's the hardest thing to get stores to pick you up. You are their worst nightmare. You're an independent inventor. And guess what? They are your worst nightmare because all they see is big box mentality. Most of the big box stores are consignment shops. They pay you after the product is sold. They could sell 50,000 units and send you an invoice because they were packaged wrong. They were labeled wrong. This or that was wrong. So what do? You license it to one of their suppliers. A supplier knows what they're doing. A supplier is going to give you a quarterly check. So placement is the hardest thing you are going to overcome. Is there an exception to everything? Absolutely. I think this gentleman that I was talking to over the weekend had some connections with Mattel. And so, yes, he got in the door. Not everybody's got a connection with Mattel, right? So what do? The old-fashioned way. You control your intellectual property. You go through the steps. You go to a trade show launch and you find a supplier who's going to license it, do the heavy lifting, and get you placed in the right spots. So the next thing we're going to talk about is actually the vetting application form. So you're taking care of getting the search done. You are taking care of getting an attorney involved. If you need help on those resources, let me know. We do know service providers who do all of those steps, right? Got somebody of your own in mind, that's fine. Not your brother, not your wife's son-in-law, all right? No, it needs to be a legitimate service provider that has been vetted and we know is going to do a good job at a reasonable price. And part of that is because the funds that you are eligible for, once you go through the vetting process, are put into escrow, and then they're paid directly to the service provider. So we make sure that it is a good service provider, no boondoggles to China. All right, if you want to go to China on vacation, go on your own dollar, not on the Archimedes dollar. It is going to go to legitimate service providers, ones that either you have picked or we have vetted, either way. So join us. Take a look at the Archimedes Offspring website. Go to the FAQs. Take a look, see if your questions are there. If not, shoot me an email at rita@archimedesoffspring.com. We might do a live video on it. I will certainly get back to you with an answer. We may end up posting that question and answer on the site. But some of it is that we need your help in understanding what your questions are. So please participate with us. Go to the investor side so that you know what the investors are seeing. You know what the investors are getting. And by all means, send it to your friends and family so that we can get the 6 degrees of separation. Join us. This is an adventure, and we look forward to your participation. Thank you.